Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
Not really. It is the Pat Gray Unleashed program. Welcome to it. Thanks for coming along for the ride today. It is post-debate Wednesday. It is 9/11. 23 years. Almost to the exact time, a few hours from now, of the, horrible day, 9/11. And, it's obviously we will never forget, but it's been 23 years. I mean, people are voting in this election, have no idea what 9/11 was or meant to this country. Pretty incredible.
Sense,
yeah, pretty incredible.
Sadly.
I mean, I feel like the people who experienced 9/11 are kind of like, when we heard our grandparents talking about D-Day. Mm-hmm. D-Day, and we're like, oh yeah, okay. Here he goes. He's going to talk about D-Day again. Here we go. Here he goes. And I feel like that's what we're like for 9/11. And it's an important day to remember. Sure and we're post-debate. Donald Trump and Kamala Harris last night on ABC. That was something to behold, and we'll cover that in depth. I'm not sure if Pat is being detained this morning by the same police officers that detained Tyreek Hill in Miami this past weekend, or if it's other officers.
And we just talked about that yesterday. He has to be careful on the streets.
You do. You have to be careful
Especially
on the streets.
Especially in that Keller area where you got pulled over last week. He may have been pulled over there, too.
Exactly.
And don't roll up your window, Pat.
Do not roll up your window.
Don't.
When the cop is standing there, just do what you're told.
I mean,
don't talk
the cop
back.
was banging on his window with his flashlight. What are you doing?
It was
Don't be
not
banging on the window. What are you doing? This car's worth more than your paycheck. You know who I am? How does that cop?
Oh, no. Let's stay focused.
There's nothing where the
Donald, stay focused over there.
I can't.
Last night was so frustrating, man.
Very frustrating. I've got my notes as I was, watching and listening, and it's, it's just so frustrating. At one point, I actually just posted on X, stay focused. Mm-hmm. You need to calm down, breathe, because I'm not sure. I mean, she never got to any points.
Right.
She never answered any questions. David Muir did. Tell me again how he's the number one news guy in America for ABC, and not my boy.
He just
Lester Holt at NB freaking C.
Yeah, David Muir and Lindsay Davis. You want to talk about? It was 3-on-1 last night.
It sure was.
It was so. It was
evident from the get go, and I don't know that I was surprised by it.
It was stressful because Donald Trump, took the bait so many times from Kamala Harris. And I understand how frustrating it must be to be up there with Cackles McLiar face on your left.
Ooh, I like that.
And you have David and Lindsay, who are it's like a WWE match. They're tagging in, and it's like I got this. I know you suck at this, Kamala. So let me fact check the president in real time, which, by the way, even their
wrong.
Fact checks were wrong.
Correct.
It was infuriating on that level, and it was frustrating on the Trump level. And so I just walked away last night what did I just watch?
I know.
And I thought to myself, there's not a chance in hell Kamala is going to agree to another debate. If I were Donald Trump, I would jump at that chance. Well, I guess what? An hour after the debate, Team Kamala was like, let's do another one.
The campaign said,
yes,
hey, let's go for it.
Let's
do
go.
Because I saw I saw a report where Donald was hesitant.
Why? He needs this mulligan,
because
man.
Of the networks. But I agree.
Yeah.
He needs.
Look, we all knew he was walking into the fire.
Can we turn off the microphones of the hosts as well during these debates?
I thought they were supposed to be.
Honestly, it's like let them talk and then move on. You don't wedge yourself into, and it's like a referee in a football game. You don't become.
You're not supposed to become the game.
Oh my gosh!
I know.
Was agonizing.
And, look, is it a surprise? No, not really. But it was definitely agonizing. I asked on X, if you're a subscriber, you can talk to Grok, the AI, the X AI. and I asked Grok the top takeaways from last night's presidential debate. And we have all the clips. We'll get to the clips. If Pat's detained any longer, we'll start with the
I
clips.
was going to say, once he posts his bail.
He'll be here soon.
I don't know. He's just being detained now. I don't think he's been under arrest.
The problem is, folks, is that Pat actually passes through 5 different municipalities on the way. So they may get detained in one and then speed up.
Talk about tag teaming, man. Yeah.
Holy crap.
I know. So, top takeaways from last night's presidential debate is what I asked Grok.
Okay.
And the information, of course, is gathered through various sources and posts on X. That's the way Grok works. So, number 1 was Kamala Harris's performance. Harris was described as having a strong performance, especially after an initial struggle with the first question. She struggled with all the questions. She didn't answer any of the questions. That doesn't say that here, though. She managed to dominate the debate by focusing on policy, attacking Trump's record, and presenting herself as a fighter for the people. Her approach is seen as effective in introducing herself undecided voters and highlighting Trump's controversial past statements and actions. That's number 1. That's the number 1 takeaway from Grok. Wow. Okay. Okay. Number 2, Donald Trump's approach. Trump's debate style included what many described as lying, racist, xenophobic rhetoric, and a focus on issues like immigration with controversial claims. What claims were controversial? The killing of pets in Ohio? Was that controversial?
Yeah, because he said dogs.
Yeah, he did.
And no dogs have been, eaten, as we know.
I mean, he said he heard it on the news.
On the TV.
So when people hear it on the TV, it makes it fact. That's just the way it is. He was noted for getting defensive and being triggered by personal attacks, and I don't know who wouldn't be. He was noted for getting defensive and being triggered, which might not have played well with undecided voters. Well, the undecided voters, after this debate, I don't know. I don't think if you were a Trump supporter, you're still a Trump supporter. If you were a Kamala supporter, you're still a Kamala supporter. The undecideds, I think, are going to have to end up leaning with Trump, really, because he's the one that's actually done it. Things were better when he was president, and Kamala gave no plans. She said she has a plan. One of the things she talked about was giving away, spending more money that we don't have, and continuing on with the wars.
No, I mean right out of the gate when she was asked, are we better off than we were 4 years ago? She takes this meandering path, talks about her childhood. Hey, I want people to be able to buy cribs. Oh, hey, Trump has this new sales tax. And so clearly she was right. She was off the mark from the beginning.
Yes.
And she was reeling. It's unfortunate that it was downhill from there for us.
I know. Then you had number 3 from Grok, a debate atmosphere and bias. There was a significant discussion around the debate's atmosphere, with many feeling that the moderators and format were biased against Trump. This included selective fact-checking, the nature of questions asked, and the overall setup, which some described as an ambush or heavily tilted in favor of Harris. Yeah. Number 4, public sentiment. Debate sparked various reactions on X. Some users feeling Trump's performance was convincing. Harris won by clearly outlining her policies. Did she?
Clearly.
No,
did she?
No, she didn't.
I feel like that's not true,
Can I
Brock.
say this?
That's not true, Brock. I may have said that on X, but that's not true.
Hold on a second. I think it's fair to say that Trump blew it. I don't know that you can say Kamala won it, but I
don't think he blew it. I just think he...
did you think he blew
stumbled.
it?
I don't think he blew it.
Welcome, by the way, and thank you for hanging in there.
Yeah, are you okay?
During my arrest.
How many
I
different
thought you were
times
just
did get
detained.
stuck?
They
so
actually
you were
arrested you?
Okay, I was not arrested.
Were you detained?
I was not detained.
Did you talk
okay.
back?
I did not talk back. No, you never talk back.
No,
Never
the
talk
police.
back.
keep your window down.
You just keep your window down. Yes. We learned that from Tyreek. So I don't even know where to start.
Hello.
On that debate. Hello. But I don't even know where to start on that debate last night. It's indescribable, isn't it? It is.
It
was indescribable.
So if I'm off the mark by saying he blew it, then what would you use to describe his performance, do you think?
A little bit rattled.
Yeah.
A little bit rattled. Yeah. Not overly rattled. I mean, I don't think it was a disaster.
I don't think it was a disaster.
I don't think it was.
I mean, it was 3 against 1.
Yeah.
Right? It was 3 against 1. I mean, that even the
like you guys said, it was absolutely
the
3
last
against
take
1.
from Grok was the media and fact checking. The role of the media in fact checking was contentious, with Trump's side feeling there was a lack of balance in how statements were challenged.
I'm surprised they noticed.
Pointing out that Harris' claims went unchecked while Trump's were scrutinized.
You couldn't help but notice, though.
Yeah, no, right,
I mean,
right.
It was
five fact checks against Trump, 0 fact checks against Kamala.
My gosh.
And the questions
and they weren't even
accurate. And then that was the problem. The fact checks that they were giving were incorrect. And then, Vice President Harris, your thoughts? Come on.
Well, that Donald Trump sucks, right, Kamala?
Stop it. Yeah.
That's about it. That's about it.
I know.
It was that obvious. And David Muir, I know you love your boy, and you should, because
thank you.
He would have done a better job than David Muir.
And has in the past, by the way, just want to say.
And has. You're right. He did do a better job. He actually did a much better job. David Muir and Lindsey Davis were about as bad as I could possibly imagine.
Yes, they were.
They might as well have been appointed by the Democrat Party, and I think they were.
Absolutely. They are definitely part of the mainstream media.
That was an audition to be the press secretary for Kamala Harris for David Muir last night.
Or for her. Yeah.
Oh my! It was atrocious.
Reports were coming out that the Jack Posobiec White House contact said that ABC News is afraid that if Trump wins, that they will get no access to the White House because of that debate.
Well, good.
Well, they should be afraid of that.
Good. Yeah.
They should be afraid of that.
I mean, he's going to treat him just like he treated CNN, fake news, and call him out just like he did the whole time as president.
I think they were worse than CNN.
I think so, too.
Oh, absolutely. CNN, that debate, they honored the rules.
Yes.
That was a fair debate.
Yeah.
That was just letting the chips fall where they may. And I don't know if this has something to do with how CNN feels about Joe Biden and how ABC feels about Kamala Harris. But the bottom line is the CNN debate was a debate.
Yeah.
This was a street fight between 3 people taking on one.
Donald Trump. Mr. President Trump, we've looked into that, and we've found that was false reporting. Vice President Harris, your thoughts?
Right.
That happened all night long.
It was unbelievable. I mean, it just drove me insane.
Will the American people be taken in by that? That's your question. Will they be taken in by that?
I don't know that they won anyone over. That's what I was saying maybe before you, during your detainment. I don't know. If you're a Trump supporter, you're still a Trump supporter. He didn't do anything to harm that.
Right.
If you're a Kamala supporter,
you're still a
Kamala
supporter.
You're after the undecideds. And I feel like since Kamala really didn't, if you watched it, she didn't answer any questions.
Right.
Yes.
If you didn't watch it, then you may be swayed.
And the reason that I still stick by Donald Trump blew it is because he was constantly getting baited by her and taking that bait and going on the defensive instead of the offense. He should have been making this about her instead.
He should have.
When she would poke at his ego, you would roll your eyes and go, "Donald, stop!" And he would be like, "Oh, my crowd size and this."
Oh yeah, the rallies was definitely a pressure point.
Right, and just what leader over in Europe loves me, and I said, "Please stop that," and just flip it back on her, because his shining moments, the best moments that he had, was when he called her a Marxist, when he said, "There's another lie."
She didn't deny it either.
Right.
No, she did not.
She did not deny it.
No, she did not.
And so if he could just, because she's not going out there and making herself known to the American public, go ahead and take the opportunity right here. You got 90 minutes. Define her for her.
Right.
Make sure that you set the narrative instead of back. I don't want to hear about your crowd size and all this stuff. We love you. We're voting for you. So stop.
He was not well
Define
prepared
her.
for it.
No.
He was not well prepared.
And she was.
And And she was.
She had those lines so rehearsed.
Oh my gosh.
That robot was in full.
Yes,
she was fully
it was.
charged and operational
Yes,
last
it was.
night.
And every one of them, you could tell she was just waiting for that moment.
He may have gone into it a little overconfident. I think that was his biggest problem. He was overconfident, and I don't know that
he
he
didn't give her
prepared
enough
well.
credit.
And so
You weren't debating Joe Biden, the cadaver last night.
Yeah,
that
right.
was last
Correct.
night.
And she's agonizing and
and a liar.
and a nitwit and
and
a
a
liar.
lying sack of crap.
But she, definitely you could see since she's become the nominee how so many things of the old Kamala she is really focused on trying to go away from that.
Right, that laugh. She has one little ha, and then pulled that back
then she
real
pulled
quick.
it back.
But I'm telling you, man, she got all of those stupid digs in that we can't stand.
Yep,
about
she sure
you
did.
know,
Oh
the
my
white
gosh, all of
supremacist,
it.
very fine people. She got
Yes.
everything.
January 6th, the climate change,
Just continued to lie
Charlottesville.
about everything. It didn't matter.
All of it. John McCain, the general on
she was
Normandy,
fact-checked on
all of it.
None of it.
Yeah,
she,
thank
she,
you. That's
she
right.
didn't get a single fact check on any of it.
No.
And it's all a lie. All a lie.
All
So
of it.
frustrating.
Yep.
So incredibly frustrating. All right, let's take a minute to tell you about real estate agents I trust. I want you to imagine for just a minute that you're about to make the biggest financial decision you might make ever in your life, either buying or selling a house. Or maybe you're doing both because you're relocating. You absolutely need help with this. Unless you're a realtor yourself, maybe then you can do it. I don't know. I wouldn't even do it. It's like being your own lawyer. I don't know that you want to do that.
Or doctor.
Yeah.
You don't want to be your own doctor.
But you need a great realtor, somebody who can help you make the decisions you need to make to sell your home for the most money, and on the other hand, to get the most home for your money. Both of those things are incredibly important because, again, it's the biggest investment you're ever going to make in your life, chances are. And so you need somebody who really needs the rope, somebody who's committed to their business, somebody like Real Estate Agents I Trust. We vet these people to make sure they are the best in the business in each of the markets that we have these people. So they're all over the country. I think there's around 1,500 or so. And, the housing market is really crazy. Interest rates are going up. Interest rates are going down. We don't know, really. You don't know. But you need somebody who can help you through the entire process. Real Estate Agents I Trust, the name says it all. realestateagentsitrust.com.
That gray is unleashed.
Welcome. All right, so we should get to the actual videos last night, the audio and the video of that debacle,
And relive it.
and relive it. Walk it through. If you couldn't stomach it, if you couldn't make it through, I mean, I don't blame you because it was difficult.
It was very difficult.
It was tough slogging.
Yes, it was.
To continue to watch that thing. Everything in me. It took everything in me to stick with it because I wanted to turn it off so badly.
Honestly, Pat,
I couldn't take it.
That's my hope, is that your low information voter or your undecided voter
turned it off.
Maybe they saw the first 20 minutes when Trump was actually, hey, we're doing good here. We're up big here.
Yeah.
Hopefully they tuned out after that.
That's what I'm hoping. That's indeed what I'm hoping. But it was amazing. Here, there was kind of a weird moment with the handshake. That must have been tough for both of them.
I mean, she went to him. She crossed over to go to him because he was not going to do it.
Kamala.
Have fun.
Kamala, shut up.
Welcome to you both. It's wonderful to have you.
I
It's
don't
an honor
know
to have you both.
that. I don't know that I would have shaken. He'd have just turned to the podium, ignored her.
That probably would have been a bad sign to start that way. I don't know. You could start that way.
The betting markets, the favorite on that was no handshake.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So I was surprised there was a handshake.
Yeah. She was.
She wanted
did
to
it.
appear to be
Yes,
the
she
bigger
did.
person.
Right.
Yes, she did.
And they were telling her that. Be the bigger person.
And that's what she tried all night, right?
'Cause he's not gonna wanna shake your hand.
We got to stop this. We're not going back.
Right. But Harris attacked Trump, and Trump returned fire.
That Donald Trump actually has no plan for you, because he is more interested in defending himself than he is in looking out for you.
And he has a record.
I gave her that to say. Look, I went to the Wharton School of Finance, and many of those professors, the top professors, think my plan is a brilliant plan. It's a great plan. It's a plan that's going to bring up our worth, our value as a country. It's going to make people want to be able to go and work and create jobs and create a lot of good, solid money for our country. And just to finish off, she doesn't have a plan. She copied Biden's plan, it's like 4 sentences.
True.
Like run, spot, run. 4 sentences that are just,
a couple good lines.
We'll try and lower taxes. She doesn't have a plan. Take a look at her plan. She doesn't have a plan.
Yeah, he's right. She actually, her campaign actually did literally copy and paste. The code shows that. Can we please put up full screen 3? Thank you. There you go. I mean, they copied it to the point where they even screwed up and left the Joe Biden. Re-elect Joe Biden today.
Oh, wow.
Gosh, so they literally did.
So then when they pull that down and they put it back up, it's still, you can see in the coding stuff that's way over my head.
Right.
But, some
amazing,
some IT folks.
So the problem with that was they just copied the metadata from the old website to the new website.
Right.
And forgot to change the metadata that still said Joe Biden in it.
Can I just say something?
Incredible.
Awesome. It is incredible.
That's incredible.
That Jeffy and I were pissed about in that clip there. It's like, turn on Donald Trump's mic and turn her mic off because she had occasions where she could talk over Trump while he was answering. I mean, I
don't know that they ever turned off her mic, did they?
I think they did. I mean, I feel like they did.
ABC, man, you suck.
Oh my gosh, that's such an understatement. I mean, if we pulled off the air if I said what I really feel about ABC this morning. It is, and they started off with the abortion stuff, of course, because that's the be all and end all to what the Democrats are about in their death cult.
And President Trump can always answer that better in my eyes. In his abortion.
He could. He could, because abortion is a difficult issue for him because he has gone both ways on it.
I know.
He's gone more conservative. He's gone less conservative. And so she kind of hit him on that he's the flip-flopper. I mean, I was flabbergasted, to use a very ancient word. I was flabbergasted that he turns out to be the one accused of flip-flopping because of abortion, and she's not, and she's flip-flopped on everything.
He did exactly what I was begging him to do, screaming at the TV. Ask her where the line is then. You say that Democrats aren't for full-term abortions, then tell us where your line is, Kamala.
Yeah, where is your line?
She didn't answer. Where the hell was ABC News there? Where they were like, well, in fairness, where is your line? And by the way, their fact-check that there are no states that allow that, that's bullcrap, and this audience was fact-checking that in real time. I mean...
Yeah,
it was. Where do you turn if you're Donald Trump? Who are you going to debate here? The ABC News host or her?
Here's part of the problem. Trump is an exaggerator. We all know that.
That's what he does.
He exaggerates.
That's what he does.
And so for him to say that they'll kill the baby after it's born is a bit of an exaggeration. They won't kill it. They will let the baby die.
Right.
They will allow the baby to lay there and suffer,
and he got to that
and die
eventually
with no treatment. That's what the fact is, and they have that has happened,
and which
does
was
happen.
being fact checked online last night in real time.
Yeah,
with the clips of what's his face from Virginia saying it.
Do they literally take a gun or a knife to the baby? No, they don't. No, they do not. Or do they beat the baby? No, but they allow the baby to die during a failed abortion. If the mother didn't want the baby in the first place, in some cases they have allowed the baby to just die.
Yes.
Rather than treat the baby, make sure the baby's fine, put the baby up for adoption, and move on with life. Would literally move on with life. But, of course, none of that was discussed.
Correct.
Because that would be the truth. And ABC was not interested in the truth. Not those two boneheads, that's for sure.
Right. No state No state allows babies to be killed after 9 months. Vice President Harris, your thoughts?
Right. That happened all night long.
I'm
night
sorry.
long.
I just can't. I was so angry every time Vice President Harris, your thoughts on that?
We do have the portion on abortion.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month, 7th month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that?
That's not an answer.
That's not an answer.
Why don't you ask her that question?
Why don't you answer
why
the
is her mic
question?
on?
Would you
Because-
veto-
Why is her mic on?
Yeah. Why is her mic on?
Yep.
Why?
Yep.
He's answering now. He's talking. Why is she talking as well? Huh. That's interesting.
That is interesting, isn't it?
interesting.
That's what I'm saying.
It can't seem to happen when she's answering,
No.
but it can happen when he is.
Correct.
Please, America, please notice. Take note on all of this. Anyway, finish the clip.
Will she allow abortion in the 8th month, 9th month,
Answer
7th
it.
month?
Come on.
Okay, would you do that? Why don't you ask her
Why-
that question?
why don't you answer
That's the
the question?
problem.
Would you
because
veto?
under Roe v.
Answer
Wade,
the question.
you
Would you
could,
veto?
you could do abortions in the 7th month, the 8th month, the 9th
That's
month,
not true.
and probably after birth. Just look at the former governor of Virginia. The governor of Virginia said we put the baby aside and then we determine what we want to do with the baby.
President.
Yep.
Right.
Yep.
Well, he actually said it right there because
Yeah, he did.
that was the truth. Earlier than that, he
I know,
had said West Virginia.
Yeah, but then he said the governor.
Then he
not
said-
the new governor.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
But again, people who know Trump knew what he was talking about. But obviously,
Yes,
they-
but
they
we're
didn't-
talking
they
about
didn't-
the ill-informed
I
voters
know,
here,
and then, of
and the
course.
undecideds.
Correct.
That's the problem here.
I know.
Wow. 9 states plus Washington, D.C. have no ban or gestational limit on when the abortion is allowed.
9 states.
9 states.
Huh.
Isn't that fascinating?
Alaska, Colorado, D.C., Maryland, Michigan, Minnesota, New Jersey, New Mexico, Oregon, Vermont. Sorry.
And it's like she won't answer. Come on.
No.
Come on.
No, she does- no, she
So she
doesn't
just
answer any
sits there
questions.
and lies, stands there and lies about
at
it.
that point in the debate, she knew ABC had her back.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, my
She
God.
didn't have to,
Absolutely
she didn't have
she
to
did.
worry about saying anything besides that.
No. And if you try to pin her down, if anybody were to ask legitimate questions, and she's been asked in the past and will not answer.
No.
I'm for a woman's right to choose. That's between a woman and her doctor. Those are the answers we get.
Right.
We don't get any. Okay, 7th month, 8th month, 9th month. Come on.
We all
That's
know
not
that.
an
We all know
answer.
that. What's the time? What's the
Yeah.
timeline?
Okay, so give me the timeline then. When is the cutoff? But you won't get that answer out of her because she's a lying sack.
I'm returning to Roe v. Wade.
That's incredible. Also, the 2025 thing that happened.
Oh my
fairly
gosh!
close to the beginning.
Did that? Yes.
He.
Why wasn't that fact checked?
Why wasn't it fact checked? Why?
Why didn't ABC say, that's already been? That's known that he has
asked and
nothing
answered,
to do with that.
and he said to the world, "That is not mine. I haven't even
Hit to
read
repeat
it.
the same thing again. It's not mine. I haven't even read it.
Right? Haven't even read it." And she just kept lying about it, calling it his. Now, if you want to play that game, let's play that game. Let's say, all right, the Communist Manifesto, which Kamala Harris wrote. It's her manifesto. And here's what it calls for. Abolition of property and land.
There you go. Thank you.
Application of all rents of land to public purpose. That's what she wrote. I'm just telling you, she is in favor of it. It's hers. The Communist Manifesto belongs to Kamala Harris.
We here at ABC have looked at that and know that that's not true. Vice President Harris, your thoughts on the fashion tonight that you're wearing? How is that? Are you happy with the suit you're wearing?
I can't take it. I mean, seriously, he should pin the Communist Manifesto to her.
I like that, though. That's
Since
awesome.
she is pinning 2025, which is actually pretty darn good. And at least he admitted to there's some good stuff in it, there's some bad stuff. He's heard.
Yeah, because he hasn't read.
Right, he hasn't read it, but he's heard there's good stuff and there's bad stuff. I'd like somebody to point out the bad stuff in it because they're making this like it's the most radical proposition ever penned in the history of mankind. Show me where. Show me why. Pin the Communist Manifesto to her. Just do it. 888-900-3393. More coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Great to have you with us. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter, where Lone Wolf 2965 tweets, I assume Pat blew out his voice screaming, "We're not a democracy!" at the TV last night.
I mean, it's overwhelming, the democracy thing.
Oh, my God.
It's overwhelming. I left here last night late before the debate started, and I was listening to the Fox coverage on radio, and it's Democracy 24, and it just drives me insane.
I mean, they even call it that.
Yes, they do.
Bizarre. Carolina Mimi, I thought the debate was a major disappointment. Trump allowed Harris to trigger him.
Yep.
He lost his focus, and he missed several opportunities to pin her down. The moderators were terrible, and Harris got away with a lot. I gave up around 10. Yep.
That's a lot longer than if I hadn't felt like I needed to watch the whole thing. I'd have been gone before then.
For sure. I would have been gone probably after about 15 minutes. Master Deba tweets, the moderators were disgustingly biased, but Donald Trump bit into all the bait she put out there. It was atrocious. And from moderator Monacate17, Trump did tell her, hey, it's my turn to speak.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah.
Sound familiar?
Clip
I was
20.
going to send you a MAGA hat.
Clip 29.
Awesome.
14 or 15 different policies. Like, she was big on defund the police. In Minnesota, she went out. Wait a minute. I'm talking now. If you don't mind, please. Does that sound familiar?
So
she
good.
went out.
And she's still,
Yep.
She went out.
That's when you wish
in
your
Minnesota.
mic was on.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's when it would have been good if it was on. Yeah.
Oh, man.
I'm happy it wasn't.
Clip 39 was fun as well.
But he would have been sitting in Moscow. Quiet, please.
Save that, Chris. Quiet, please.
Already did.
Her mic was off, though.
Yeah, it was.
Her mic was off at those points.
She did what they claimed Trump did last time.
Yes.
Multiple times.
He was screaming in my ear the whole time. That's why I was so distracted.
Yeah.
Really? Is that what happened? Okay. So they did. I mean, Kamala answered the question, are we better off today than we were 4 years ago?
She did?
Yeah. Well,
when it comes to the economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
Listen to this.
So I was raised as
it's a yes or no question.
Answer.
So is not the answer.
That's not an answer.
Are we better off today than we were 3.5 years ago? So, yeah, that's not the answer.
It's not the answer.
This is the most meandering answer of nothing.
And listen to this.
Economy, do you believe Americans are better off than they were 4 years ago?
So I was raised as a middle-class kid, and I am actually the only person on this stage who has a plan that is about lifting up the middle class and working people of America.
That's not the answer.
I believe in the ambition, the aspirations, the dreams of the American people.
I can't take
and that is why I imagine and have actually a plan to build what I call an opportunity economy.
So no, we're not.
Because here's the thing. We know that we have a shortage of homes and housing, and the cost of housing is too expensive for far too many people.
Yeah.
Why?
We know that young families
How'd that
need
happen?
support to raise their children, and I intend on extending a tax cut for those families of $6,000, which is the largest child tax credit that we have given in a long time, so that those young families can afford to buy a crib, buy a car seat, buy clothes for their children.
What does that have to do with the question? Nope. Nothing. It has nothing to do with the question. That's where you follow up. Okay, that's fine. But are we better off today than we were 4 years ago?
Answer the question.
Answer the question. Pin her down. They don't.
No.
They don't.
And I wish I wish that he had done it more often, but especially the first couple of answers the way Trump would look up at the clock? Because they showed us before the debate.
Yeah,
this
the big clock behind him.
Clock.
I know.
And he keeps looking up at it, and you're like,
showed us that.
That's what we feel like. Yeah, it would have been a nice little clock.
I asked for that last time too. Maybe just down the corner, maybe the last 30 seconds or whatever. Just
put it on the screen,
so you see. See the countdown, and you can see why they stop in the middle of what feels like
that would have been great.
Answer. Yeah.
But they won't do that because it would show you how one-sided this thing is. They're not going to do that. Kamala attacked Trump on climate change. And it being a hoax.
The former president had said the climate change is a hoax.
It is.
And what we know is that it is very real. You ask anyone who lives in a state who has experienced these extreme weather occurrences,
like
who
what?
now is either
Pause
being
it for a
denied
second.
home.
I mean, the answer to this is so easy. There are not any more frequent or more powerful storms or occurrences than there's ever been.
No.
That's the answer.
We have a hurricane getting ready to hit this continent right now.
That's
Pat
right.
Gray.
Good call, Jeffy. But no, Pat, on Monday...
it's been over... It was more than 100 days, over 100 in the desert, Pat. Mm-hmm. Okay? What? A record.
Over 100 in the desert?
Over 100 for 100 days in a row in the desert.
So... That has happened before.
So climate change doesn't exist.
It'll happen again. It'll also be below zero somewhere this winter.
Are we writing this down?
Write it down.
Prediction.
It will be below zero somewhere in the continental United States.
What are you,
during the
old
winter?
Farmer's Almanac over here? So on Monday, Jeffy and I, we had this little graphic. I don't know if we still have it, but I got a notification on my phone that CNN and the leftist media is so just in despair that the climate change hasn't given us a hurricane every 5 minutes. And so here is the notification I got.
A confusing hurricane season. Forecasters predicted the Atlantic Ocean would see storm after storm this year. Instead, a rare and strange calm has settled in.
They can't believe it.
Well, we talked about the Atlantic Ocean is cooling down, and they don't know why. The Earth is doing what the Earth does. And they can't figure it out.
How many times do you have to say it? A million, because nobody listens. Nobody listens. Nobody on the other side. I mean, they don't care. They don't care. And they don't care that there's not been a major hurricane yet this season. It's September 11th. By the way, 23 years.
I know.
23 years now. I know you guys mentioned it at the top. But that's hard to believe, isn't it?
It sure is.
It's hard to believe.
It sure is. I mean, it's definitely one lifetime ago. It feels
it
like
is.
I mean, maybe two.
Well, it's a generation.
Maybe two.
Isn't a generation 20 years or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, one hurricane. It was a hurricane one. The other one was a tropical storm.
Yeah,
I mean, some things have hit the shore.
Is going to strengthen.
Yeah, Francine is going to hit Louisiana.
Has it strengthened to a hurricane yet?
Let's see. They're calling it Hurricane Francine.
There you go. So it strengthens to a hurricane, but it's going to make landfall today.
As a one.
Yeah.
As a one. Still, we will have no major hurricanes.
This one developed in the Gulf of Mexico. It did not come across the Atlantic.
A major hurricane is 3 and above. So
correct.
We haven't had anything like that. Nothing.
No.
And this was supposed to be the worst of all time. Don't tell me about climate change.
We've revised our outlook.
Right. That's great. When you can revise your outlook, when you can revise temperatures from the 1930s to make everything fit your agenda.
Yes.
Man, that must be nice to be able to do that all the time.
It is darn nice for them.
Yeah.
So let's go back to the premise. Climate change.
Yeah. Okay.
It's a hoax.
I think
it's a hoax.
Okay,
yes.
so here it is. Here's her answer.
Insurance, or it's being jacked up. You ask anybody who has been the victim of what that means in terms of losing their home, having nowhere to go.
Gosh,
we know
that's
that
never
we can
happened before.
Deal with this issue.
Oh, that's agonizing. It's Ask anybody.
Ask anybody
who's lost their home. They'll tell you.
I would go out on a limb and suggest that the Biden-Harris administration has caused more people to lose their homes than climate change hurricanes.
Yes. In all climate change hurricanes combined, they've been worse.
Yes.
By far. All right. There's a silent health threat that affects 1 in 3 Americans. It's an overworked and sluggish liver. That affects your weight, your energy levels, clear thinking, productivity, and even sleep. It can also lead to heart problems. You don't want none of that. Our livers are getting bombarded every single day with GMOs, microplastics, toxins, all kinds of stuff that you might not even know about. If you, your husband, your brother, your friend feel sluggish, drained, you can't seem to get rid of those few extra pounds, let me recommend trying the Liver Health Formula and see if the benefits of Liver Health Formula for yourself. It's a premium supplement designed with 11 clinical proven botanicals and support to detoxify your liver. It helps you feel revitalized and ready to conquer every single day. This company has already helped more than 2 million people. For example, here's what their customer, Stephanie, has to say. She said, in February 2022, I found out I had liver issues. I researched, started taking Liver Health Formula. 6 months later, my doctor was amazed. I lost 20 pounds, my liver is healthier, and I cut sugar and carbs. These supplements definitely helped. Of course, your results may vary. They're not typical, and there is an exclusive deal, though, for my viewers. You can try Liver Health Formula, and as a special offer, receive a 1-month supply of nano-powered omega-3s with your order. Try Liver Health Formula by going to getliverhelp.com/Pat. Get your free bonus gift. That's getliverhelp.com/Pat.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
So, boy, it is it's fun seeing the conspiracy theory that came out of the debate, and this involves Kamala Harris's earrings.
Oh,
as if maybe they're earpieces, some sort, because they look very similar to as you can see, the Nova H1 audio earrings aren't your average ear candy. They double as like little earbuds.
Oh my gosh!
And as you can
They are
see,
similar.
Similar.
They're not the same.
I think they're similar. I'm with you, Jeffy. It looks like wait. Yeah. Okay. Let's go back to the side by side there.
Yeah. I mean, could it be? Yes.
I mean, would you put it past them?
Oh,
No.
absolutely not.
No.
Absolutely
not
not.
a chance.
She could have had a great deal of help.
Yes. She could have had one. She could have had an earpiece implanted in her skull.
Hold on. You mean she could have had a great deal of help that wasn't obvious?
Yes, she did have a great deal of
moderators.
help that was obvious. Yeah, that is true. That is true. But she was, I don't know, she was, in her presentation, she was solid.
Yes. She didn't present really anything.
No.
The way she went about.
But the way she presented it was solid.
Yes.
Well,
she didn't get lost.
Yeah.
You know, she didn't talk.
For a couple of times, she looked like she was about to, and
Yeah.
I really was counting. Actually, personally, I was counting on that actually happening. And for whatever reason, if maybe somebody in her
the
earpiece said,
shakiness-
"Stop, no,
Yeah.
stop."
Right. No, the shakiness in her voice and the meandering that she did in that first answer or two, that did not last.
And no one, and really, no one pinned her down. There were answer the question.
Mm-hmm.
That's not the answer.
Yeah. Meanwhile, during the discussion on, I don't know, something else, was it abortion? He started talking about the student loan situation with Trump, and he meandered, which I don't think was helpful. I don't know that it was helpful.
I know.
So
I know.
Yeah, it was tough. Now, is there going to be a second debate? Because she's apparently agreed to a second debate.
So originally, September 25th was scheduled. We've already missed the September 5th
He needs to say
one.
yes, and he needs to do better.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so remember, September 4th, she said no thank you. And so, so then they kept this one. Originally, it was September 25th. I know Fox News, put out an invite last night.
She'll never agree to that.
Which one did she agree to already, or say?
Just the 10th.
Honestly, I don't know.
Is the only one she agreed to.
I thought something happened last night. Did they not agree last night?
No, last night the campaign came out and said they want to do it.
They just want to.
Right.
Okay.
That was after Trump said in the press room there after the debate, when asked about it, he was like, we'll see. I mean, he was not.
You're not going to commit right after.
Right.
You're not
honestly, when that debate was over last night, I thought she is going to take this as a W.
That's what I thought
and
too.
Run with it, and you'll never see her again.
Not look back.
I'm
And why?
surprised
And
that
she
her
should.
team.
I was
She
too.
should.
That shows the overconfidence now, and I hope.
Good.
Please agree to it.
Have it, yeah.
Because you need it. Back in
And prepare.
'84, Reagan lost the first debate badly. He looked bad doing it. Second debate, he crushed Mondale, and that's when he said he wasn't going to take advantage of the age issue.
Youth and inexperience.
Yeah,
of
and
his
the youth
opponent.
and inexperience of his opponent.
And by the way,
So good.
Tuesday, October 1st, is our VP debate with Walls and Vance.
Wow, that should be interesting. Sheesh.
That will be.
That'll be interesting.
That will be interesting.
So I hope he agrees to it. Let's take a few calls. We'll get back to the clips here, but let's go to John in Florida. Hey, John, you're on the Blaze.
Hey, how are you?
Good.
Pat, here's the thing. He forgot to touch on infanticide, which is taking place in Minnesota. Tim Walz signed that bill in May of 23. 8 babies have been murdered.
Right, that's right.
No state allows that, John. Maybe you didn't hear ABC.
ABC tried to tell you that's never happened in this country.
But what happens is, they kept saying, no, we'll never have nobody goes over and has an abortion after the 8th or 9th month or something like that.
That's a good point.
And you have to come back and say, no, Tim Walz is murdering babies all the time.
I think he did try to get there at one point, but he didn't go.
He didn't get there.
Yeah, he didn't get there.
Yeah.
He passed a law now that he doesn't have to report it. Now, Planned Parenthood doesn't even have to keep track because they were getting so much hassle over the fact that 8
That it
babies
was
have been
happening.
murdered.
Yeah.
Right. Appreciate it. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
And if you don't say that they've been murdered, but they've been allowed to die, that's more precise, and you can't be fact-checked wrong on that. You know?
Right.
Okay? Were they literally murdered? No. But essentially, that's what you're doing when you allow them to die. You're killing them. You're killing them. So, yes, 8 babies in Minnesota in just, I think it's just a year.
Probably more, yeah.
It's just a
because
year.
they stopped. That's what John was saying. Is that
These
they
are the
just
ones
stopped
we know of.
tallying. Yeah.
Right. These are the ones we know of. They were born during failed abortions, and they were allowed to die.
So who's the governor in Minnesota? It kind of slips my mind right now.
Walz.
You mean Coach Walz?
Who's that guy?
Yeah, Coach Walz.
Tim
Tom.
Tim Tom. Yes, Tim Tom. You weren't here. Oh, man. The governor of Wisconsin introduced him and called him Tom twice. It was awesome. We have to find that for you to hear.
Tim
So
Tom.
it's Tim Tom now.
Yeah, I did not hear that.
It's really good.
That's great.
Because Tom is going to be a great vice president. Tom, get on up here. This is awesome. I don't even know his name. What are we doing?
He's mixing up Tampon Tim with...
Yes.
That's what he's doing.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah, that's what he's doing. 888-900-3393. More Pat Gray Unleashed, and we'll get to Chewing the Fat as well coming up.
Pat Gray Unleashed.
Pat Gray is here on the Blaze Radio Network.
And thank you for being here as well. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. 23rd commemoration of 9/11. Hard to believe. It's really something. Also, the big debate last night and how that went. We're going through that. We got some tweets here. Timothy Lanham1 tweets, I'm sure she had the questions in advance, even though he took the ball every time. He took the bait every time. It was hard to watch. Yeah, it really was.
I mean, they made several points of that. No one was given the question. So, I mean, there was no need for it since Vice President Harris. Your thoughts?
Yeah. There was no need, but she still might have had him. I don't know. It wouldn't surprise me at all.
Right.
Bulldog Mama tweets, sadly, I think everyone underestimated Kamala. Yeah, I think so too. Don't forget, she was an attorney and she handled herself as one, lies and all. Tim Tom Walls, guys, she wasn't better prepared. It was the earrings, and maybe
maybe. I mean,
maybe
she's
a little of both.
So we've seen as of late her transformation from the hated Kamala to more more subdued and more presidential, I guess, if you will.
Right. The Baron of Bubbles. It was not Trump against 3. It was Trump against 4. Barry O was in her earpiece.
I put nothing past them.
No, nothing. Absolutely. That would not surprise me at all.
Barry O.
Okay. Let's go to Derek in Alabama. Hey, Derek. Welcome to the Blaze.
Hey, Pat, how you doing this morning? I'm a big fan, buddy.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Doing well. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, I was just going to ask you what you thought. I was kind of surprised that Trump mentioned how she was a Marxist, her dad was a Marxist. Yeah. I was kind of shocked at all that, but overall, I felt it was kind of Trump kind of let me down.
Yeah,
he missed a good. She dangled some bait out there, and he took the bait.
Absolutely. It's too bad.
I know.
It's too bad. Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, Derek.
I know.
I was a bit surprised. I mean, I shouldn't have been, I guess, that he called her a Marxist outright like that. So but I appreciated it.
Yeah.
I'm glad he did.
I mean, your mom's a Marxist, your dad's a Marxist, your whole damn families are Marxist.
And it's true.
And she didn't deny it.
She did not.
She did not say, no, they aren't.
No, she didn't. We've got a capitalist family here. We've got we're all capitalists.
We were poor middle class.
What? Yeah, poor middle class. That's been debunked, too.
I know.
You know, they both worked at Berkeley, right? They both worked at Cal Berkeley, and they made a lot of money. I mean, they made good money. I don't know if they were middle class or upper middle class, but I mean, I'm sure they weren't millionaires, but neither were they just an average everyday family.
Correct.
I mean, come on now. It's asinine. And she was never fact checked on any of it.
No.
And she didn't have to answer for anything. Right. It was clear sailing for her. And, you know, that makes it pretty easy for you. Doesn't it? That makes it pretty...
It sure does. It sure does.
When you know you're not going to have to handle any rebuttal, and he has to handle all the rebuttals.
Then the next question is, I'm just going
to
throw you another softball. There you go.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yep.
Go.
Yeah. As you mentioned multiple times, Kamala, how do you feel about it?
President Harris, your thoughts? I just drove me insane.
I know. It was like, Kamala, what's your favorite color?
I know.
Kamala, tell us about your favorite Disney character. Kamala, how much better a job have you done than he has? I mean, come on. It's asinine.
It is.
And it's so obvious. I don't know if undecided voters, you know, independents, people who haven't been paying attention, the people who are just like only now starting to say, you know what, it's coming up in 2 months, maybe I better watch this debate. I don't know if they understand what happened last night. I hope they do. I hope Americans can see through this.
I hope so, too. And I hope they realize that she didn't really answer anything.
Nothing.
And,
nothing. She still hasn't presented a policy position.
No.
She just keeps saying, my plan is better than his. He doesn't have a plan. Well, what? Yeah, he's outlined his stuff. You have not. What do you mean?
And he's already done it. And we've seen what you've done the last 3.5, almost 4 years. So
yeah. So Kamala had the unmitigated gall last night to blame Trump for the border crisis.
Why did the administration wait until 6 months before the election to act? And would you have done anything differently from President Biden on this?
So I'm the only person on this stage who has prosecuted transnational criminal organizations for the trafficking of guns, drugs, and human beings.
That doesn't answer the question.
And let me say
it does not.
that the United States Congress, incling some of the most conservative members of the United States Senate, came up with a border security bill, which I supported. And that bill would have put 1,500 more border agents on the border to help those folks who are working there right now overtime trying to do their job. It would have allowed us to stem the flow of fentanyl coming into the United States. I know there are so many families watching tonight who have been personally affected by the surge of fentanyl in our country.
They conveniently leave that part out.
I wish he would have called her out on that.
Yeah, but he didn't.
No, he didn't.
I don't know if he was ill-informed for this. I don't know if he was ill-prepared for this, but it didn't go that well. Overall, she probably won the debate. I hate to say it, but I think in the perception of the American people, she won.
Yeah, her presentation was definitely
better than his. This is just better. That doesn't mean she should win the election.
No,
or she
by
will
all
win the election.
Means, no.
But I was just so hopeful for him last night, and I don't think he delivered.
Fair to say that he blew it?
The more I think about it, I don't know. I don't know. It's difficult to say, but perhaps. I'll leave it at perhaps.
Don't forget, 9 days from now, a week from Friday, early voting begins. South Dakota, Virginia, Minnesota.
Way too soon.
I know.
It's way too soon,
bro. You're telling me.
There's no excuse for that. What is the excuse? You have to have a month and a half to vote? Seriously? No.
We can't have voter suppression.
If you say that's
what you're talking about.
That's the excuse now. If you say, look, 6 weeks is too much. That's too much time because a lot can happen in 6 weeks to change your mind.
Yeah, then we'll take your All-Star game away from you.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
It's insanity. It's insanity. You can't do it in, let's say 14 days.
And of course she has another, that actually feeds into wanting another debate in October, right?
Yeah.
Because she won. She feels like she won this one. Early voting starts, so those votes are already going to be in.
Yeah. Right.
So no matter what happens,
she's already won.
She's done.
So to your point, Jeffy, Vermont is the next day on the 21st, Illinois on the 26th. So in other words, five of the 50 states start voting before the vice presidential debate.
That is unreal. It's wrong. It's stupid. It's insanity. And yet, that's where we are.
That's exactly where we're at.
And just like you brought up, Jeffy, if you mention it, if you say, look, that's way too much. Why are you trying to suppress the vote? And, of course, the answer to that is, I'm not. You have plenty of time. If it's 14 days, you've got a couple of Saturdays, right? You got a couple of Saturdays to vote. If you work all week, you got a Saturday, you got Sunday, you can get out and vote sometime during the 14 days.
Yes. Actually, that's a good timeline. I like that.
I think 14 days is reasonable.
Other than just, how about a day? But the 2 weeks I like.
Which it used to be, by the way, and you just had to vote on election day.
And people did it.
Right. Somehow you managed. And it wasn't voter suppression.
No, it was not.
If you said, look, go out and vote on election day. And if you can't do that, sorry. Then you just don't vote as an American. Sorry.
Well, some employers said I couldn't vote, which I feel like wasn't true.
Yeah, me too.
Because
in very few instances.
Yeah. I have to work, so it took me time to get there. Well, if you were in line already, they weren't closing the line down. And we were told that they were, but they weren't.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
That was their fight
with
to
how
get the extension.
dirty Pennsylvania is, I'm surprised that they don't have early voting. Like, listen to this. These are the states that don't have early voting. I'm sure you could probably get a mail-in ballot or something like that.
Well, of course you can.
Maybe people can enlighten me on that aspect. But as far as showing up to early vote, these states do not have that option. Alabama, Mississippi, New Hampshire, let's see, Maine, North Dakota, Oregon, Pennsylvania. That's what it says here.
So like 7 to 8?
It varies by them. It says it varies. Maybe different municipalities.
Maybe they're working on the couple weeks timeline then.
Yeah.
That would be good.
I mean, it's not unreasonable to say, show up on election day. That's what we've done for 200 years. Now, all of a sudden, you need 6 weeks.
Yeah, it's not unusual to use paper ballots as well.
Right.
And you would think, that, I mean, isn't it fascinating that technology has improved our lives and made everything faster and simpler for us?
Except voting.
Except voting.
Yeah, where we can't get it done.
Where we now have computers, but yet we have to wait weeks to find out who won. When we were kids, it was paper ballots.
And we bought into it.
And it was right.
And we've bought into it, hook, line, and sinker. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Yep. So Trump this morning is also saying it was 3-1.
Well,
obviously, it's pretty obvious, but
there were plenty of. I saw plenty of cartoons and animated features where he was behind the podium, and those Kamala and the two ABC hosts were behind the other podium.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's absolutely.
You know what's interesting is that he went into clearly enemy territory. I mean, ABC has been proven to be more negative toward him than even CNN. So those two moderators last night are essentially Democrat operatives.
Absolutely. It's not. It wasn't. I mean, it shouldn't have been a surprise.
And he went into that fire willingly. He said yes to it. So the least she could do, she's not going to, but the least she could do is go on Fox with him. That's the least she could do. Show that you've got the guts that Trump had and go into what you consider to be enemy territory. Go on Fox. And Fox will bend over backwards to try to prove that they're fair and balanced.
Yes, they will.
ABC didn't do that.
Democracy 24.
Yeah, yes. They'll play the game.
Yes.
ABC certainly didn't. All right, let's take some calls here. See what you thought. Steve in Texas. Hi, you're on the Blaze.
Hello. Actually, Keith asked me to call in reference the Tyreek situation in Florida.
No.
I doubt today is the best day for that, but I mean,
that's all right. You guys mentioned it that I was supposedly pulled over,
detained.
Detained.
But now supposedly you were detained.
Supposedly detained.
Yeah, because Steve,
I was detained in my bed.
Oh, nice, kinky. So Steve, your law enforcement background, correct?
Correct. I've worked both at the city level, the county level, and I retired as a state trooper.
Okay. So what were your thoughts? Were the police fair?
Yeah, we discussed in overtime the other day.
Yeah.
Well, I don't specifically know what their policies and procedures are, but obviously he was, in the beginning, he was not following commands.
Right.
You do not roll your window up.
Mm-hmm.
And
very true.
It's hot in Florida, man. You got to keep the AC on. Go on, Steve.
That wouldn't have flown with you, right? It's too hot out there. I'm not going to roll down my window.
Yeah, that doesn't fly.
No.
And you don't get on the phone with somebody else.
Right.
You know,
got to call his attorney or his agent. I mean,
yeah.
Drew. They called Drew Rosenhaus, right?
Yeah.
Incredible. So what is the action that, let's say he wouldn't have opened his door or would have kept it locked? Would they have broken out the window? Is that the procedure if that happens?
If it had gotten to that point, yes.
And with these, it looked as though these officers would have let it get to that point. They appeared to be a little aggressive.
Have you seen the video, Steve?
I have. I've had to tap on people's windows.
Yeah.
I've had people roll their window up on me.
Okay.
And you got to remind them, hey, you need to roll your window down because I'm talking to you right now.
Right.
And I have ordered people out of the car before.
Yeah.
What I have not seen done, and this was the first thing about the traffic stop that bothered me, was when they got him out of the car, which is fine. He's not following commands.
Right.
Sure, step out of the car.
Yes. I think you're right. It was fine up until that point.
Right. The minute, you ordered him out of the car, that's fine.
Yeah.
But you don't order somebody out of the car and immediately take them to the ground.
Yep.
Well, I mean, while they ordered him out of the car, they dragged him out of the car.
Yeah.
Right. Unless the person's being combative.
Right. And even to you, he wasn't being combative, right?
No.
Right.
He wasn't being combative. He was just obstructing.
What were your thoughts later on when he's standing over on the side?
By the curb there.
They took him down again.
Took him down.
Yeah, you tell the gentleman, hey, go ahead and have a seat on the curb or whatever the specific wording was.
Right.
Give him time to do that.
Yeah.
He started to explain that he had a knee injury.
Right.
And then immediately an officer comes up from behind him and practically jumps on him.
Yeah.
And he has to sit down because he got all this weight on his back.
Yeah.
That was the second thing that really bothered me.
Yes. Plus, I have a little issue with these police officers that are working around the stadium before the game. And they don't know that. Do they think that the black man stole the $200,000 car that's being driven, a block from the stadium? And the other guy, that stops is driving a $200,000 car. They think that he's a criminal as well. We're stopping to find out. Hey, the guy is trying to get to work at the stadium.
On Sunday morning.
He obviously isn't the hamburger vendor. Okay, come on now. Stop.
I get the impression he's been pulled over more than Pat has.
That very well is probably true.
Steve, I don't think that's even possible.
Below the belt, Steve.
Steve, thanks a lot. That's a really reasonable explanation from a police officer.
It absolutely
and
is.
That's
and
exactly,
I understand it.
I think that's the way we saw it.
Yeah.
Right? It started out, he was fine. Then they got a little carried away.
I will say
a lot.
We got a great new celebration, at least after Tyreek
and this is
scores the touchdown, and then
now he's in his face. Millions of people see him getting handcuffed.
That's great.
Handcuff.
I didn't see the game.
He scored his
I
touchdown.
didn't know they did that.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
I mean,
awesome.
You don't know who Tyreek Hill is?
Yeah, come
on now.
No, I don't know.
Yeah, if you were working at the stadium, I'm sorry that you had to work overtime to pay the bills riding your motorcycle on Sunday morning, putting out cones for traffic patrol.
No.
Sorry.
Oh my gosh! Oh my gosh! You know what?
Back to blue.
This is Miami. Where were the bike cops? Bike cops.
Where were they?
That elite force.
That elite force. Get back! Move back! Move back! I mean, they should have been on call right there.
Yep.
There we go. Look at that.
Where were they?
Tyreek goes flying by.
They're probably too
much. Watch this elite force and how skilled they are. Look at that! Ta-da!
They could probably get paid too much money. They don't show up for Sundays.
That is true.
I love that one guy's like, yeah, let me get my kickstand going.
All right. Imagine if you had the ability to just wave your hand and abortion would no longer be legal. Wouldn't that be something? Imagine all the lives you could save in that moment. Tragically, that's not the reality we live in. We live in a reality where instead, if you don't have unlimited abortion opportunities, up to and including birth, why you are restricting the rights of women and you are hampering somebody's reproductive right. That's the world we live in.
It is.
It's pathetic. And it is tragic.
Young girls have got to drive to another state, is what Kamala told us last night.
Yeah.
Young girls have to drive to another state.
And then she uses all these examples of the most extreme cases that have happened like twice in world history. Now, whereas if on the other side, where they're letting babies die after a failed abortion, that's fine. And that never happens. It can't happen in any state. Well, not only can it has happened. That's why the work of Preborn, the ministry they're doing, is so important. They empower young, expectant mothers in crisis to choose life. It is incredible work. It is the Lord's work, frankly. That's what it is. And not only do they encourage her to give birth by showing them ultrasounds, which only cost $28, and your donation of $28 doubles the chance that a baby is going to be born alive. So they also go to work helping the expectant mother if she does have the baby. And up to 2 years, they'll provide baby formula, health care, support emotionally, all of the things that the mother needs. So if you can help rescue a baby's life, please dial pound 250. Say the keyword baby. That's pound 250, keyword baby. Or go to preborn.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Welcome. 888-900-3393. Pat Unleashed on Twitter. All right. Are we belaboring the point to play more of the debate last night?
Let's see if there's any highlights in here we like.
Yeah.
Poor Noah.
Something that absolutely has to be shown and listened to that we haven't already shown and listened to or discussed. If there's something like that, we'll go through this and see if there's a few more highlights. In the meantime, let's go to Chris in Michigan. Hey, Chris, you're on the Blaze. Welcome.
Hey, guys. Hey, I have a question. Why is it that we can watch these debates or press conferences and you and I can come up with an answer in less than a second? And yet you guys get prepped and they can't come up with an answer, or it's a terrible answer. I can look at it and come up with an answer in less than a second, and they don't even touch on it. I don't understand how this
does feel that way.
I
but you're not,
don't get it.
It's the surroundings. I mean, you're prepped. The pressure. Surroundings. I mean, it isn't. I'm just trying to make excuses now. I'm with you on that, though. I mean, they're running for president, and they need to. They need to be prepared.
Is it the fear of political correctness? Is
Maybe
it you don't want to run afoul of the media with your real answer?
Certainly hasn't
I don't know.
That certainly hasn't been Trump's.
Is Trump really concerned with political?
That's what I'm saying.
It doesn't seem like it.
No,
You're right. You're right. That's why I say.
I don't understand.
That's why I say appreciate the call. It's such a great point, Chris. But that's why I say he was kind of ill prepared for this.
And you knew he was going to get the question about Kamala being black and Indian without any fact check from ABC. ABC saying, well, by the way, Vice President Harris, we have seen you
say that you were Indian multiple times.
Indian, and now you're presenting yourself as black. Why is that? Rather than, Vice President Harris, your thoughts.
Right. Yeah.
Donald Trump said you were a darky.
But
your thoughts?
But the thing is, they knew going in this was going to happen.
Correct.
You had to know that.
Correct.
So he should have been prepared with the response, right? As Chris mentioned, we all had that response in less than a second. We've played the clips where she says she's Indian. And people are saying, you're Indian. And she's agreeing with them. Yes. We played that a couple of weeks ago when this was out. And so he's got access to it just like we do. ABC has access to it just like we do. They're just going to keep it sequestered somewhere in a vault, and they're not going to show it.
I mean, you talked about...
But he knows it happened.
She talked about her grandmother in India.
Yeah.
Talking about reproductive health rights in India, which is BS.
Yes,
I'm sorry.
Of course it is.
The country has 18 billion people in it. Yeah. They're not concerned about reproductive health care. Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
There's a little business going on in India. Okay?
Little business. Yes.
There's nobody hawking abortions.
Beautifully put. Thank you, Jeffy, as always. So eloquent.
Everybody knows she's a Marxist.
And that's true.
And
everybody knows
true, yes.
She's a Marxist. More coming up.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
Wish I could repeat all of the words that came to my mind during that debate last night. But
you can.
Well, you can. It's your show. Your name's on the wall. It's right behind you. I don't know if you saw that.
Don't remind us of that. Go ahead.
We're not controlled by the FCC.
We're
on the internet.
All of that is true.
My gosh, it was frustrating as hell.
Oh my gosh,
it was so frustrating because
you could help. I could help. I wish I was in his ear right now.
Yes.
I wish he was wearing the earrings.
That's a lie. That's a lie. That's not true.
And he did say that she's lying again a few times.
Right.
And
but
she
not enough.
And she, turned it on him.
Yeah.
Which really is concerning. Yeah. Which really concerning.
It's weak. It's ineffective. It's bull.
That was a good move on her part.
Honestly.
Sadly. But to turn they're just lying again. Continue on with his lies.
I encourage my kids to participate and watch these debates and inform themselves. The problem is they watch them with me and get to hear fun words, and it's frustrating.
We got more on this.
They've never heard those words before in their entire life.
Not from me.
More on this, and we'll get to some other things, too, before the end of the show. But first, I got to tell you about Miracle Made. It's still hot outside, certainly in Texas, and your bedroom temperature at night can totally mess up your sleep quality if you're waking up too hot or too cold. You need to check out Miracle Made sheets. These sheets are inspired by NASA. What good is the space program? Incredibly good.
Especially, if you're feeling tired and feel like you need a couple more hours of sleep, these sheets work.
Exactly. using silver-infused fabrics that regulate temperature that came from NASA, essentially, to keep you sleeping perfectly all night long. And get this, traditional bed sheets can have more bacteria than a toilet seat. I hate to even think about that.
I don't like that fact.
I hate that.
Yeah.
Leads to all kinds of ickiness. But these sheets are self-cleaning and antibacterial. They block up to 99.7% of bacteria, need 3 times less laundry. So they're fantastic. Miracle made. Just go there and get these sheets. You're going to love them. They're as soft and comfortable as the luxurious ones that, with 1,500 thread count or whatever, and you pay $1,000 for them. Not the case. Go to trymiracle.com/Pat. Use the promo code Pat at checkout. You'll save over 40%. 40%. And they'll even throw in 3 free towels, too. Plus, you can get an extra 20% off when you subscribe. Try them for risk-free with a 30-day money-back guarantee and upgrade your sleep today. Try miracle.com/Pat. Promo code Pat at checkout and save over 40%.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
And welcome to it. Great to have you with us. Just to finish up on the debate last night, let's play the stuff from Kamala and the Afghanistan withdrawal.
I do want to ask the Vice President, do you believe you bear any responsibility in the way that withdrawal played out?
Well, I will tell you, I agreed with President Biden's decision
you're the last
to
person
pull
in the
out of
room.
Afghanistan.
You're right,
4 presidents said they would,
wasn't the
and Joe
question,
Biden
but-
did.
Right.
And as a result, America's taxpayers are not paying the $300 million a day we were paying for that endless war.
You funded them.
And as of today, there is not one member of the United States military who is in active duty in a combat zone in any war zone around the world, the first time this century. But let's understand how we got to where we are. Donald Trump, when he was president,
That's a red flag.
negotiated one of the weakest deals you can imagine. He calls himself a deal maker. Even his national security advisor said it was a weak, terrible deal. And here's how it went down. He bypassed the Afghan government. He negotiated directly with a terrorist organization called the Taliban.
Wow.
It's bull.
I don't understand.
These people told us that the Taliban were now our friends.
Yeah.
You remember all that garbage?
And they paid them millions upon millions after that disastrous
And they
withdrawal.
left billions upon billions for them to use against us eventually.
Which they're happy to show off every year.
I believe the words, "not your father's Taliban," actually came out of some official's mouth in that administration. We were led to believe that, oh no, this is a kinder, gentler, we can deal with this Taliban. This Taliban is more like our Taliban. Okay, they might not be our close personal friends, but by golly, they're a nice neighbor that we're just going to get along with.
Taliban.
Right. I mean, come on. It's so easy to slap that down. Yeah. Hey, Kamala, tell that to the 13 families, the Gold Star families who are still suffering because they lost their loved ones, their sons, their daughters, their brothers, their husbands and wives. Tell them that. And why is it they didn't invite you to the ceremony? They invited me.
You weren't there at the Capitol when they were given their awards from Congress either.
Right.
Where were you?
Yeah.
What was going on?
You guys haven't even mentioned them since. You've never said the names. I mean, stuff is so easy. It's just so easy. She just teed it up for him. And then Donald Trump talked about Kamala having no policy, which is obvious and true.
I don't say her because she has no policy. Everything that she believed 3 years ago and 4 years ago is out the window. She's going to my philosophy now. In fact, I was going to send her a MAGA hat. She's gone to my philosophy. But if she ever got elected, she'd change it. And it will be the end of our country. She's a Marxist. Everybody knows she's a Marxist. Her father's a Marxist professor in economics.
Yes.
And he taught her well.
Oh, look at
but
that.
when you look at what she's done to our country, and when you look at these millions and millions of people that are pouring into our country monthly, where it's, I believe, 21 million people, not the 15 that people say, and I think it's a lot higher than the 21.
Yes.
That's bigger than New York State pouring in. And just look at what they're doing to our country. They're criminals. Many of these people coming in are criminals. And that's bad for our economy, too. You know, you mentioned before, we'll talk about immigration later. Well, bad immigration is the worst thing that can happen to our economy. They have, and she has, destroyed our country with policy that's insane. Almost policy that you'd say they have to hate our country.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. What would you do differently?
What would you do differently? By the way, on Fox and Friends this morning, Donald Trump called in. He says he's not inclined to do another debate.
Oh, you have
That's a mistake.
He won the debate by a lot.
Please. Oh, no. Is that what he's...
Quote, so here are the quotes. I am not inclined to do it because I won the debate by a lot, but I think we let it settle and let's see what happens. That means he wants to see what polling happens after this, and then he will decide.
Just say yes.
He also said he wouldn't want to have Martha and Brett, Martha McCallum and Brett Baer from Fox News. He said he would be more open to having a Sean Hannity, Jesse Waters, or Laura Ingraham moderating. Quote,
well, she'll never agree to that.
Right. So I'm just saying that is what he said this morning on Fox.
Interesting. So he couldn't even go with Martha McCallum?
And Brett Baer. I wouldn't want to have Martha and Brett.
Wow.
Let's give other people a shot. I didn't think Martha and Brett were good last night.
If anybody in the Trump
camp... Oh, is he talking about on the after?
I think he was talking about the post-game, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, man.
If anybody from the Trump campaign or has anything to do with anything involving Donald Trump, please encourage him to accept another debate. He did not win that by a lot.
With anyone.
He did not.
Step into the fire and just be prepared.
And while he might perceive he did, the perception of America is that he didn't. And that's what you have to go with. That's what you have to go with. And you use Reagan as an example in 1984, where he lost the first debate to Mondale and crushed him the second debate. That has to happen here again.
So many, there were, there for a while, it was just like, he needs to just calm down. Just relax.
Yeah.
Just start focusing.
Yeah.
And that needs to happen. He needs to do that again. Just step into the fire. He's not afraid to go anywhere, so just do it.
Exactly.
Just do it. You know you're gonna be up against it. No matter who you choose. I mean, I realize that I won't say that. Never mind. I realize that Sean may be, more on his side.
That's a nice way to put it.
Thank you. More on his side.
Yes.
But
that's a good way to put it.
Which side?
Yeah.
You know what side.
No, you're Kamala's?
No.
Not a Kamala supporter.
Back here.
RFK?
Yeah, it would be back there.
RFK. Okay.
Not for the debate though, because it'd be pulled out. Anyway, I just go with it.
Yeah, just go with it.
I would take any offer at this point if you're Donald Trump.
Absolutely. Yes. He should be chomping at the bit to do it again.
I would go anywhere but MSNBC.
Yes. I mean, CNN would be better than ABC. And so would MSNBC.
What about Lester Holt?
Yeah, Lester should reach out and go, hey, you saw how
he proved himself.
We'll do it. Yeah.
It went pretty well. So here's the closing remarks. We'll start with Donald Trump. Here's what happened last night.
So she just started by saying she's going to do this, she's going to do that, she's going to do all these wonderful things.
Yeah.
Why hasn't she done it? She's been there for 3.5 years. They've had 3.5 years to fix the border. They've had 3.5 years to create jobs and all the things we talked about. Why hasn't she done it? She should leave right now, go down to that beautiful White House, go to the Capitol, get everyone together and do the things you want to do, but you haven't done it, and you won't do it because you believe in things that the American people don't believe in. You believe in things like we're not going to frack. We're not going to take fossil fuel. We're not going to do things that are going to make this country strong, whether you like it or not. Germany tried that, and within 1 year, they were back to building normal energy plants. We're not ready for it. We can't sacrifice our country for the sake of bad vision. But I just ask one simple question. Why didn't she do it? We're a failing nation. We're a nation that's in serious decline. We're being laughed at all over the world. All over the world, they're laughing. I know the leaders very well. They're coming to see me. They call me. We're laughed at all over the world. They don't understand what happened to us as a nation. We're not a leader. We don't have any idea what's going on. We have wars going on in the Middle East. We have wars going on with Russia and Ukraine. We're going to end up in a third world war, and it'll be a war like no other because of nuclear weapons, the power of weaponry. I rebuilt our entire military. She gave a lot of it away to the Taliban. She gave it to Afghanistan.
Yes.
What these people have done to our country, and maybe toughest of all, is allowing millions of people to come into our country. Many of them are criminals, and they're destroying our country.
Right,
the worst president, the worst vice president in the history of our country.
Yes. Let's leave it at that. I don't even want to hear what Kamala had to say in the closing remarks. We'll just leave it at that, because that's the feel-good point. And that's what you should have gleaned from the discussion, from the debate last night.
Yes.
Is that she's been a disaster. She's not new. They've been in charge for 3.5 years.
Boy, I would love to know the audience size at that point.
I would too.
That was the very last thing said last night.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. 888-727. No. 888-900-3393. It's weird how that comes up at weird times. Should have happened earlier in the show, probably. But it happened this time. But let me tell you about Beam Organics. How would you describe your relationship with sleep right now? Do you have trouble falling asleep or staying asleep? I certainly do.
Really?
Except for this morning.
Because I feel like that's not true.
Except for this morning. I got up at midnight and I thought, oh, good. I got another 2.5, 3 hours-ish. And then it was 5:34 the next time I woke
you should
up.
not have had a cup of Beam.
No, you should have.
But if your sleep quality makes your life harder, maybe you've tried everything and nothing has worked, here's the deal. Sleep is the foundation of your health. When you sleep well, your mind and your body function at their best. Good sleep means more focus, more energy, and a better mood. So how do you get that dream sleep? Well, 3 words: Beam's Dream Powder. It's a science-backed, healthy, hot cocoa for sleep. And let me tell you, it has changed my sleep patterns for the better. No more tossing, no more turning, waking up. Just solid, refreshing sleep that you can have as well. The stuff tastes amazing. They've got flavors like sea salt caramel, which is one of my favorite things in life. Oh, yeah. Brownie batter, and only 15 calories, 15 per serving, with 0 grams of sugar. Plus, it's packed with natural ingredients to help you fall asleep and stay asleep without feeling groggy the next day. Don't miss out. Get up to 40% off Beam's Dream Power at shopbeam.com/Pat. That's shop, BEAM.com/Pat. Use the promo code Pat, and you'll save 40%. So, shopbeam.com/Pat.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.
We want to leave on a positive note.
Right. I wish this next 3.5 minutes from CNN, I wish this was the last thing Donald Trump watched before he walked onto the stage last night.
Tonight, Kamala Harris releasing details of her policy positions for the first time on her campaign website. A KFILE investigation has uncovered, meantime, a 2019 questionnaire. And in this questionnaire, Harris laid out some much more liberal stances, among them on immigration. So in 2019, in what KFILE found, she said she would cut funding to ICE, writing, quote, "Our immigrant detention system is out of control, and I believe we must end the unfair incarceration of thousands of individuals, families, and children. I was one of the first senators after President Trump was elected to advocate for a decrease in funding to ICE." Well, now, of course, she's touting the Biden administration's executive order to crack down on the border. KFILE's Andrew Kaczynski joins me now. Andrew, that's pretty incredible on its own when you're talking about what you found here on ICE. What else did you find?
Yeah, and this was a questionnaire that she filled out for the ACLU, and this questionnaire is really an interesting snapshot in time of that 2019 Democratic primary. Kamala Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers. And I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take
pause it for just a sec before he gets to that, because
she said
you
on
got
immigration.
pause it. Can you pause it for a sec? This is CNN.
Yeah.
This is not Fox.
Well, this is a KFILE investigation. Okay,
Thank you. Yeah. So the KFILE investigation is going to be non-biased.
Now, this goes to my theory that CNN wants Donald Trump back.
Incredible.
For their ratings, but
this is
still fair.
Yeah.
Even through that prism, this is still a very fair segment.
All right, let's see what he has to say.
Harris was trying to get to the left of Bernie Sanders. She was trying to get to the left of Elizabeth Warren, and you really see that in a lot of these answers. And I want to walk our viewers through a little bit of what she said. Let's just take immigration and look at what she said here. Okay. She said on immigration, she made this open-ended pledge to end immigrant detention. She said she supported taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She also said
taxpayer-funded gender transition surgeries for detained migrants. She actually said she
both wrote and answered in the affirmative when she was asked this. And she said she also supported it for federal prisoners. Now, she also pledged to slash immigration detention by 50%, close all family and private facilities, and decrease funding for ICE, and then the end ICE detainers with local law enforcement.
My values haven't changed.
These are things that, it would be hard to think that you would come up with taxpayer funding gender transitions for detained migrants. And yet this, as you say, written and verbally. What else, did you find?
Well, let's take a look at her answer here on drugs. She got asked about, the question from the ACLU was, since drug use is better addressed as a public health issue through treatment and other programming, will you support the decriminalization at the federal level of all drug possession for personal use? And Harris answers yes. Now, what would that mean? Well, the federal all drug possession. That's not just marijuana, which she alluded to in her answer to this question, but it also would mean
it's federal level of all drug possession,
fentanyl, crack, cocaine, things like that. Yeah.
Have they responded to you on her changes on these issues?
So we did put this question to the Harris campaign about the entire ACLU questionnaire, and the Harris campaign didn't answer any questions from CNN.
What a surprise.
Instead, they just provided a statement from an unnamed Harris campaign advisor that just said, the vice president's positions have been shaped by 3 years of effective governance as part of the Biden-Harris administration. Now, they declined to CNN to elaborate on what those positions were. And then they also provided this statement, which they attributed to a spokesperson saying, as president, she will take that same pragmatic approach, focusing on common sense solutions for the sake of progress. So where does she stand on this, all this questionnaire today? We don't know, and they won't say.
Interesting.
It's pretty incredible stuff. Thank you very much, Andrew. KFILE for this reporting.
Aaron Burnett. That's pretty incredible stuff. She's blown away by how radical this person is.
But there were so many nuggets from there that Trump could have used last night.
Oh, my gosh, yes. Holy cow. Well, they held him to the Project 2025 agenda. So let's hold her to her Communist Manifesto agenda. She's responsible for the Communist Manifesto. And you know what that means? That means the abolition of all rights of inheritance. That means a centralization of credit in the hands of the state by means of a central bank with state capital and being an exclusive monopoly. It means a centralization of the means of communication and transport, which has to all go through the state. That's hers.
Yes.
That's her Communist Manifesto, just like Project 25 is Donald Trump's. I'm so sick of these people. You got to play. Okay, let's play the game.
Let's do it.
Let's just play the game. And that's how the game works.
What was this clip, Jeffy, when the media thought Kamala was Willie Brown's daughter?
Oh, it's a news report from San Francisco.
From what year?
When Willie Brown became mayor.
Ago.
Yeah, when he became mayor of San Francisco.
So they thought the person she was sleeping with was her father?
Well, I don't know that she was sleeping with him then. I mean, he was separated from his wife at the time that they were together.
Okay, I assumed too much. I apologize.
Completely divorced.
I know you're a stickler for making sure that we don't falsely accuse anybody of anything.
Thank you.
Yeah, nobody supports non-false accusations more than Jeffy and chewing the fat.
Thank you.
Okay. So you've got a clip, though, from the past.
This is a news report from San Francisco when he was mayor.
He's a rogue, all right, notorious for his flamboyant lifestyle. Flashy clothes, fancy parties, fine women,
Wait,
and fast cars.
Are you his daughter?
No,
I'm not. Rewind that just a bit.
Are you his daughter?
No, I'm not.
Is this, when was he elected?
Oh, gosh.
It's been quite a while.
It's been a long time, yeah.
30 years, you think?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, easily.
Fine women.
Are you his daughter? Are you his daughter?
And
fast cars.
Fast cars. And then he puts, you can call me mayor. And he puts on his mayor hat.
I love that. Are you his daughter? No, I'm his main squeeze. But, shh. Did I say that out loud? I'm sorry.
No, I'm not.
96, January of 96 to January of 2004.
Okay.
You can call me mayor.
So this would have been probably
96,
January.
97 right there whenever he first got elected.
96 sometime.
Because he's putting out his, you can call me mayor, and he puts on his mayor hat. So he was just elected,
So he's 90 now. So he was mayor, what, age 60?
Oh, here we go. The age stuff.
62 to 70.
Here we go.
Okay. We're going to judge him because he was an older man.
Nobody supports May December relationships more than Jeffy Fisher.
You can't put an
and
age
chewing
limit
the
on
fat.
love, okay? All you guys want to do is try to put some age limit on, okay?
So she's younger now than he was then.
Wow.
And he still says, she's still, what was the line he used? I forget the line that he used when they asked him about her. Like she still can go to the top or something. It was some really strange comment from
Interesting
Willie.
though. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. On this commemoration of 9/11, we'll definitely pay some reminders to that coming up in overtime, since it is the 23rd anniversary of that incredible tragedy. And we got lots more. Be back tomorrow. We'll see you then. Pat Gray Unleashed.
This is Pat Gray Unleashed.